first source, the article of Boys and Their Toys, How Overt Masculinity Dominates Australia's Relationship with Water. It's a good source because it is in a website where professional editors inform readers about different topics affecting the world. The author is Anna Kovach, a research fellow at the Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology at the University of Melbourne. The article was published this year on May 10th, which made it be of contemporary relevance. The article was biased because it was a woman criticizing men on how they dominate decisions related to water in the water supply industry. However, it is necessary to have such sort of bias because men often don't realize their damage and women have to remind them. This article helped me illuminate my research question by noting real-life examples of Australian men, the social and science of masculine behavior. Kovach talked about the anger that women have towards the Parliament House because of their outdated, toxic masculine values. The overly masculine environments in both the government and workforce has led to men taking most of the decisions regarding water supply. And this article helped me move forward in understanding this topic by making me aware of how unhappy women feel about not being heard by men who still follow outdated masculine values, even in the workforce and the water supply industry in this case. This article helped me understand my topic better by using real-life examples of men dominating women's decisions and being toxic even in areas such as water supply. The sources first from other sources because it uses a very specific example of how toxic masculinity affects women in the workforce. It is similar in how it points out the flaws of men in Australia and how their ideals inhibit having an inclusive work environment. My second source, the source I chose is reliable. The Neo Mateship article in the 21st century, changes in the performance of Australian masculinity. Since it was peer-reviewed and the author, Karina J. Butera, has written many articles and writings about mateship. The writing was published this year, in the year 2008, which means that it's still of present-day relevance. In this article, there's no bias, but she expresses her view on modern mateship. The article helped me view the author's perspective on modern mateship and masculinity in Australia. She discusses how traditional mateship is slowly fading and transitioning into what she calls neo-mateship, which is more adjusted to more modern masculine values. It helps me understand the topic by explaining that mateship and masculinity are changing in Australia for the better, and yet, however, there's still a lot of room to improve. This source helped me understand the topic by discussing the changes that mateship has taken. For example, shifting from guarded levels of disclosure to being more expressive and vulnerable. The source differs from other sources in acknowledging that there's been improvement in masculinity, and yet it's similar in the way that it says that men still have a lot of room to work on their masculine values. Third source, the source I used was an article from the Vogue magazine, Playtime with Harry Styles, still title. I think this title is a reliable source because it is part of a very valued and prestigious magazine such as Vogue. Another reason why I trusted this source is because the author of the article, Hamish Bowles, is a fashion expert and has written many successful articles. The article was published in November 13th, 2021, which makes it of present-day relevance. There was a bias regarding how men should dress in a feminine manner since the author was a fashion designer who openly expresses his perspective before about feminine dresses in men. However, this bias helped me understand the perspective on masculinity, which was alternate from the old school view, which viewed men as needing to be big, strong, and rough and dressing up manly, and instead believe men are not limited to dressing any way and can choose whoever they want to dress up as. This article helps me illuminate my research question by expressing how traditional masculine clothes ideals are outdated and how men shouldn't limit themselves to dress up a certain way. This article included an interview with Harry Styles in which he discusses music, lifestyle, and fashion. So such interview helped me move forward in understanding my topic by helping me understand that there's no such thing as dressing up manly enough. This interview with Harry Styles helped me understand my research question by discussing ways in which men can dress up without feeling shame or feeling less masculine. The source is similar to other sources because it aims to end toxic masculinity, but it differs because it includes a celebrity such as Harry Styles. My other source, Why I'm Done Trying to Be Man Enough, the TED Talk with Justin Baldoni. I think this source is reliable since it is related to the famous media organization TED. Aside from this, the author Justin Baldoni is an outspoken feminist and social entrepreneur, which shows a pretty impressive background. The presentation was given in the year 2017, therefore it's still relevant to today's date. The presentation was biased since the presenter was an outspoken feminist. However, this bias regarding this topic helped me once again see the perspective of those who see the flaws in traditional masculinity and acknowledge them. This presentation made me think of a way in which Australian toxic masculinity can be better adjusted to more modern and healthy masculinity by letting men know that they can be sensitive and vulnerable and still be strong and masculine. The presentation provides Baldoni's belief of redefining traditional masculinity. He discussed how Hollywood used him to be manly, although he didn't see himself as strong or rough. He discussed how he viewed traditional gender stereotypes with men and women as toxic and wrong. His speech helped me understand the topic by exposing the side of a man who experienced all the cons of traditional masculine values and expressed his desire to be a man of value by being vulnerable and sensitive and respectful. This source is more personal than most of my other sources, yet it sides with other sources, believing that traditional masculinity should end. And my next source is in No Safe Place, Violence Against Women. Michael Kimmel, a professional sociologist, is interviewed in the 1998, which is a little old, but the topic of violence against women is still relevant today. The interview isn't biased. It's just the interview of Michael Kimmel. He expresses his disagreement with outdated masculine values and how they are the reason for the abuse on women. This interview will help me move forward in understanding the topic by exposing a sociologist's opinion on the topic. The source helped me understand the topic by exposing all the flaws with men from sociologist's perspective. It differs because it is an interview. It's similar because it exposes the dark nation of toxic masculinity